Well, hey friends, it's Miss Lori here at the Township at Community. I am so glad that you are here today joining me for our very last day on Paradise Island. We have had so much fun this month as we have been looking at Bible stories from Adam and Eve to Noah to Abram to Joseph, taking a look at God's amazing promises. And what do we know? We know that God always keeps his promises. And that's something to celebrate, right? So everybody get on your feet. It's time to sing along.
You're watching Live 3 Kids.
If there's one thing we can count on, it's that God will never let us down, and we can trust everything He does. He keeps His promises, we know, because the word of the Lord holds true. We can trust Him, we can trust Him. The word of the Lord holds true. We can trust Him, we can trust Him. If there's one thing we can count on, it's that God will never let us down, and we can trust everything He does. He keeps His promises, we know, because the word of the Lord holds true. We can trust Him, we can trust Him. The word of the Lord holds true. We can trust Him, we can trust Him. The word of the Lord holds true. We can trust Him, we can trust Him. The word of the Lord holds true. We can trust Him, we can trust Him. We can trust Him, we can trust Him.
Okay, friends, we have been practicing this really cool memory verse all month. How many of you think you know it? Raise your hand. Awesome! Now let's see if we know it really well, because on the count of 3, we're all going to say it together. Are you ready? And I want to make sure I hear you, so say it really loud. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. God keeps all his promises. Joshua 21:45. You guys did amazing. I could hear you. That is awesome. Don't forget to practice your memory verse some more this week with your mom and dad. You guys totally rocked it. Okay, so I'm going to need your help with the Bible story this morning. Do you think you guys can help me? Okay, whenever you hear me to say the words, "Aww," I want you to show me your saddest face. And when you hear the word, "Yay," I want you to show me a great big old grin and happy face. I think we can do it. Are you ready? Let's practice.
Yay. Aw. Yay. Aw.
Now, last time we learned about a man named Joseph. And he had how many brothers? He had 11 brothers. That's a lot of brothers, isn't it? Do you remember counting the brothers with him?
Can you count to 11? Help me count the stalks of grain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
That was a lot. You guys did amazing, by the way. Well, his brothers decided that they were going to be mean to him because they were kind of jealous, weren't they?
Show me your meanest face. Those are some pretty mean-looking faces.
And so last time we saw Joseph, he had been thrown in a pit, and then he was sold as a slave, and he was on his way far, far away from home to a place called Egypt.
Aw.
Okay, so Joseph went to Egypt. And when he got there, he worked for a very important man by the name of Potiphar. That's a big word. Can you say it with me? Potiphar. Well, Potiphar was very important. So stand up and show me your most important stance. How would you stand if you were really important? Maybe have your hands like this. Yeah, he was important, and Joseph worked for him as a servant. Joseph did a really, really good job. Potiphar could trust on him to do the things that he said he would do. He was honest. He was a hard worker. And you know what? Joseph got a reward for that. So he got to work and be in charge of everything in Potiphar's house. That's a good thing, right?
Yay.
But Potiphar's wife made up stories about Joseph and told Potiphar that he had done all kinds of terrible things that he had not done. And guess what happened to Joseph? They threw him in jail. Do you think that would be a happy or a sad thing? Should we go yay or shall we go ah? What do you think?
Aw. God was with Joseph, even in prison. Joseph was given a position of trust by the prison guard and even helped interpret the dreams of some of the prisoners. Yay.
Now, after a while, Pharaoh had 2 dreams. So let's make her sleeping face just like that. Awesome. Now we're going to wake up and see if you can count to 2 with me. You ready? 1, 2. He had 2 dreams while he was sleeping, and nobody could tell him what they meant.
Aw.
But then someone remembered that when they were in prison with Joseph, they had had a dream. And Joseph was able to tell them what their dream meant. And they thought that maybe Joseph could tell Potiphar what his dream meant. Do you think Joseph was able to do it? So Joseph told Pharaoh what his dreams meant. He said that there would be 7 years where things would be really, really good. They would have lots of food to eat. The plants would grow really strong. The animals would grow really big and have lots and lots more animals, so they would have plenty of things to eat. But then he said that would be followed by 7 years of not good. 7 years where there wasn't enough food to eat, and oh, they would be so hungry.
Aw.
So Joseph told Pharaoh to save up all the extra food through the 7 good years and to save it and put it away so that then during the 7 bad years, the people could come and they'd be able to give them food to eat so that they would not go hungry. Pharaoh liked Joseph's advice so much that he let Joseph out of prison and put him in charge of all of the warehouses where the food would be stored and making sure that everyone would have plenty to eat during the 7 bad years.
Yay.
Now, do you remember Joseph's brothers? Well, they were still back in Israel. And they had had 7 bad years too, but they hadn't known to save up ahead of time to save food to eat. So they were really hungry. Can you show me your absolute best hungry face? Oh, I am so hungry. Yeah. I don't feel so happy right now. I feel kind of sad, don't you?
Aw.
So Joseph's brothers traveled all the way to Egypt and asked if they could have food for their family back in Israel to be able to eat. And they bowed down to the man who was in charge. Do you remember who was in charge? That's right, you guys have good memories. Joseph was in charge. So his brothers bowed down to him. Do you remember his dreams that he had when he was younger?
First, he dreamed that his brother's stalks of grain would bow down to him.
And that's exactly what was happening. His brothers had to bow down to him, just like God showed him and promised him in his dream. Well, do you think Joseph was really angry with them? Because last time he saw him, they had thrown him in a pit and sold him to be a slave. So do you think he was nice to them? Or do you and said, nope, no food for you. No food. Or do you think he was kind and he forgave his brothers and helped them out? You got it. Joseph knew that God keeps his promises and that he should be nice to his family, and he provided them with the food that they needed so that they could eat too.
Yay.
After that, the whole family moved to Egypt, and Joseph could help make sure that they had plenty to eat and that they were well fed and that they were taken care of.
Yay.
It took some time, but all God's promises came true. Joseph became somebody that people looked up to and admired in Egypt. And his family looked up and admired him, just like Joseph saw in his dreams long before.
Yay.
Well, we've heard a lot and learned a lot about promises this month, haven't we? In the first week, we learned that when things get broken, God has promised to fix them. Like when Adam and Eve decided to not listen to God and they disobeyed him and sin came into the world, God promised to fix it. And he has. He fixed it through his son, Jesus, who died on the cross for us. God has promised to provide us with mercy, like he did with Noah in the great big flood. He kept him safe and the animals safe and gave humans another chance. Through Abram, we learned that God's promises are for now and for later. And Joseph taught us that, sometimes God's promises might take a little bit of time and we have to be patient. But we've also learned that God's promises are always true. And that's something amazing that we can hold on to and remember, because God's promises are always true. God keeps his promises. That's our main idea for today. So on the count of 3, we're going to all shout it out together. You ready? 1, 2, 3. God keeps his promises. Amazing. I could hear you guys all the way here. So that is a great job. Keep it up. Now we're going to check in and watch our Bible story video and then finish up with a little bit more fun with our worship. Here you go.
family now. This is like the 5th episode of this vlog and we're gaining more subscribers. I think like everything, if we keep going, stuff is bound to happen, right? Hold 1 minute. Let me feed Grub. Are you hungry, Grub?
A few moments later.
Oh, look! We have a new comment here. This is from Johnny. Johnny says, so after Joseph was taken to Egypt, what happened next? Well, Johnny, let's find out because I have no idea.
It's time for our Bible story. After Joseph's brothers had sent him away, he ended up in a different land called Egypt. Joseph worked very hard in this new place.
But wasn't he sad?
I'm sure he was, but he knew that what God promised in his dreams would happen eventually. Joseph worked for a very important man in Egypt named Potiphar. Potiphar trusted Joseph and put him in charge of his entire house.
That sounds like a big job.
It sure was, and Joseph took it very seriously. But one day, Potiphar's wife told a lie about Joseph, which made Potiphar very angry, and he sent Joseph to prison right away.
Oh no! It seems like only bad things are happening to Joseph.
It does seem that way, but guess what? Joseph knew he did nothing wrong. So even in prison, he kept working hard and never gave up on the dreams God showed him a long time ago.
He trusted God.
He did. Joseph's gift became known to other prisoners around him. They tell him their own dreams, and Joseph would then tell them what it meant. It was a wonderful gift that he had. After some time, the Pharaoh of Egypt heard about Joseph and his gift for explaining the meanings of dreams. You see, Pharaoh had some bad dreams himself and needed some help.
Oh my!
So Joseph was taken to see Pharaoh. Joseph told Pharaoh what his dreams meant and that they were going to have 7 good years and 7 very bad years. There would be no food in the land during the bad years.
For 7 years?
Yes, but don't worry, Joseph gave Pharaoh a plan. They'd need to save extra food within the 7 good years, so they would have enough food for the 7 bad years that would come after. Pharaoh was very happy with that idea and set Joseph free from prison.
Awesome!
It didn't stop there. As time went on and the bad years came, Joseph's family back home were running out of food. So Joseph's brothers came to Egypt to buy food. By now, Joseph was a very important man in Egypt.
If I were Joseph, I would have said, told ya!
Can you imagine how Joseph must have felt? Happy to see them, but also sad and maybe even a little angry. But in the end, Joseph recognized them and forgave them for being mean to him. After that, the entire family moved to Egypt, where Joseph could make sure that they were well. It took what seemed like a long time, but God's promises came true. Joseph saved his family and helped to save all of Egypt too. He was an important man that everyone looked up to, just as he had dreamt a long time ago.
That's amazing. So God really kept his promise to Joseph. Yeah, it took some time, but it happened. God kept the promises that used to be just dreams to Joseph. Joseph did become someone super important, and because of that, he was able to save his whole family. I wonder what promises God will keep in our lives. So guys, today has been amazing. We learned so many amazing things about God that blows my mind. I feel good about it too though, and so should you. Catch you next week on this Callie's World. Peace.
Will you guys pray with me? Dear God, thank you so much that you teach us through the Bible, that you keep your promises, and that we can always count on you. God, help us to always remember that, especially when things may seem kind of scary or gloomy or we just don't know what's going on. Help us to always remember we can count on your promises. And Lord, help us to keep our promises too, because we want to be more like Jesus each and every day. We love you so very much. Amen. Friends, enjoy this last worship video, and I'll see you next time when we start our new series, Help. See you again.
You keep your promises. I know I can trust in you. When you speak it, God, you do it. Your words are always true. God makes a promise and then he keeps it. Numbers 23:19. God makes a promise and then he keeps it. Numbers 23:19. Numbers 23:19. You keep your promises. I know I can trust in you. When you speak it, God, you do it. Your words are always true. God makes a promise and then he keeps it. Numbers 23:19. God makes a promise and then